We're undercover, secretly filming in a hospital just outside Beijing.
晋级了教会了。你这个情况从几岁开始？
很小吧。
很小，几岁？
He says he's gay and wants to change. The psychiatrist describes a treatment she says can help him.
现在这个就跟你说那电休克一样，这样。
Electric shock therapy.
好紧张。哇！
In a Beijing apartment, activists from China's largest gay rights group, the LGBT Center, are holding a secret meeting.
我会这样子，因为这个活动完了以后，我会去见警察，
他就会知道我们在这段时间来做这件事。我会跟他如果我们把卖票。
This week, they're hosting their annual fundraiser, the Gala. It's vital for the group's future. But their director, Ying Xin, known as Iron, is worried the authorities will ban the party as they've done in the past.
Every year we just do it very underground, keep it as a secret.
She's lying low, avoiding calls from the police. She says they don't like any type of activism. Have they approached you specifically?
Yes, of course. For NGO people, we have this kind of joking. We said, if you never been visited by policemen, that means you are not
NGO.
Yeah, achieve a very good job.
Besides the fundraiser, the group has another big target. They're campaigning to stop gay conversion therapy across China. So what is conversion therapy?
It's a kind of therapy which aim to change your sexual orientation. Always, they want to change you to heterosexual people. And electric shock, they use equipment so it can shock you. It's not a very big shock, but it will hurt you.
Being gay is not illegal in China, and recently the LGBT Center helped win a court ruling which set a legal precedent against promoting gay cures. So it's raised the group's political profile. Speaking to the activists, it seems like the government doesn't have a problem with homosexuality itself, but it is wary of any groups organising themselves politically and working with foreigners. With Iron lying low and focused on the gala, we meet up with 22-year-old John Shen, her deputy.
Hi.
John.
Oh, yes.
It's Shauna.
Yeah, I'm Shauna.
From Channel 4. How are
Nice to
you?
meet you?
Lovely to meet you too. John is going to help our investigation by going into the clinics with secret cameras, pretending he wants to change his sexual orientation.
If I ask him or her for electric shock, they might just ask me to maybe lay down on the sofa or on the chairs.
John's group have secretly recorded consultations inside gay conversion clinics, but never the actual treatment. If doctors offer John electric shock therapy, he plans to go through with it. What's your personal motivation for doing this?
When I came out to my relatives, or my mom or my dad, when they asked me to, you have to go to the hospital and see and check first, I might just answer them that I've already got. and I kind of expose all the bad things there. If you want to take a look, I can show you the documentary.
With the group's help, we start calling and identifying hospitals that tell us they offer gay conversion therapy. But before our first appointment, John says we need to meet urgently. It's our first taste of how hard it is to be an activist in China. John, tell me what exactly is going on.
Yesterday, the police came to our office and he asked my colleague, "Are you filming something recently? And is this something about conversion therapies?"
How do you think they found out about us in the first place?
Maybe our phone is kind of being tracked by the police, and we talked about this film and Channel 4 in that phone.
The police want the activists to stop working with us, but they want to continue.
Maybe the worst thing is that they put me into the prison for a month. I don't think that will happen. Anyway.
That midnight, we drive to Tianjin, a port city just outside the capital. John's first appointment is the next morning at the Tianjin Xi'an Mental Health Hospital. The plan is to pull up 5 minutes away from the hospital because it's not safe to go directly there ourselves. John is going to walk there. He's going to be wearing his secret filming equipment, and hopefully he'll be back within an hour. John, there you go.
Yes.
Do they feel okay?
It's okay. Do I look good?
Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so you have your bag and you have your glasses. Over the phone, they've told us they offer electric shock therapy and other treatments for homosexuality. John is taken to meet a senior psychiatrist.
23。
23岁啊，这次来是因为什么？
我觉得我自己可能喜欢男生。对，我觉得我不想这样。
The psychiatrist says the problem is in his mind and starts to outline a range of remedies for his gay urges.
这个你可以常做吧，有这想法，脑袋一冒出来的，洗个冷水澡，跑步跑得大汗淋漓，我就把我身体过多的那种利比多，对不对？体内的利比多荷尔蒙给它释放了。
有没有什么是？
John asks if there's anything else he can try. She tells him there's a drug he can take if he feels sexual urges towards another man.
他就可以有一种恶心吐的感觉。
就吐嘛，
产生生理的这样的反应。你的条件反射是看见他就性冲动，现在是你呢就反其道而行之，你是看见他性冲动，我就让你厌恶，下次看见他就害怕了。
John asks her about electric shock therapy.
棒啊，电棒以电棒为主。
是怎么电？
电棒就小型的，不太大，对吧？当你有这想法，你用电触痛你，这一触痛你，你自己就知道哦，该回避了。
After making some calls, she says the drug and electric shock treatments aren't available at her hospital, but suggests one where they might be.
那么这个痛苦你能耐受吗？你自己的心里能扛多久？对不对？你真的能扛下去了，它就能改变。
John fixes to come back and see her and find out more.
I'm sad about the truth that they don't want to know more about this community, and they just went on the conversion therapy.
We contacted the hospital to ask for their response to the fact that one of their senior psychiatrists told John that treatments are available for homosexuality. They have not responded. Back in Beijing, John invites his activist friends around to his studio apartment. Are all of you guys out?
I'm out to everyone except my parents. Because I think parents is the most, the most hard part for the Chinese peoples.
Kind of like I don't want to hurt my parents, because it's like they're gonna think that maybe because they have done something wrong, make me to be a gay or something.
In China, there is a saying from Confucius, like one of the most disrespectful things to your parents is not to have an offspring.
In fact, John and his friends say it's mostly parents who take their gay sons and daughters into the conversion clinics.
Being forced to go to the clinic by their parents might say if you refuse to go there, I will not support you to go to school anymore.
While John's been with us, his friends have been working on the fundraising gala so essential for the group's future. They're still worried the police are going to stop it.
If we are cancelled, it means there will not be any Beijing LGBT center in Beijing, at least for this year.
But What's surprising about these guys is that they're fearless when it comes to taking on the authorities, yet almost none of them are out to their parents. We identify another hospital that tells us it offers electric shock therapy.
您那儿是不是可以治疗这个同性恋这方面的？
是的。
电击有吗？
有的，咱们医院有的。
This time, another of our volunteers poses as a patient. He knows prolonged electric shock treatment can be dangerous, but also that a single session will leave no lasting damage.
晋级了交费了。你这个情况从几岁开始？
很小吧。
很小，几岁？多小
？6、7岁。
6、7岁。
His appointment is with a senior psychiatrist at the Huashan Hospital in Tianjin. After an hour-long consultation, she tells him she has a machine that can treat his sexual orientation.
现在这个就跟你说那电休克一样，知道吗？现在都
就类似于电击的那种。
哎，对对。
He's led to a treatment room.
好紧张。
走吧，我陪他去吧。吐的时候是阵痛麻的感觉啊，一点都不会疼。
The nurse starts by applying 2 volts.
麻了哈。感觉怎么样，同学？有阵痛感觉吗？
She then places the electrode on his head and increases the voltage.
哇！
这是几呀？2行不行？100会是吧？
阵阵的。
The doctor says the electric shocks will treat his homosexuality by rebalancing his nervous system.
试一下吧。加一个。啊哦，这个。
2是吧？这是。
对，就整个这块都是麻的。
真的要毁容了，加了啊。
Our volunteer is charged 3,500 yuan, about £350, and asked to come back soon.
坚持，它是一个疗程做的。你看咱这儿有的那人，他们在治疗这方面里边做一个疗程，做完以后大见好，他过一阶段再巩固，再做一个疗程。你做几次不坚持了不行。
We contacted the hospital and the psychiatrist our volunteers saw to ask their justification for administering electric shock as a treatment for homosexuality. They have not commented. There's no scientific evidence electric shock and other treatments can change sexual orientation. But I want to know if prolonged exposure to them is harmful.
Hi, Johnny. Hi. It's Shauna.
Nice to meet you.
So I visit Johnny Lee, a psychotherapist who specializes in counseling gay people.
就是广义的来说，厌恶疗法就对我觉得现在来说，对所有人可能都会有一种伤害。那特别是 LGBT 人群，他们已经好像厌恶疗法会加强他们对自己身份的不认同，会对自己的否定和排斥，所以所有的这些可能会更加深他的一种想法。而我们在下一步做让他认同的时候，非常的困难。也许这种伤害可能是长久的，可能伴随一生的。
We've heard a lot about these quack therapies, but this is really the first time we've been told about the damage they can do to a person's mental health. John and some of the other activists are gathering at a downtown coffee shop. They're certain their office is being monitored.
今天我们其实来为这个参加的这个活动呢，实际上就是为了周六的这个 gala， 是我们15年的时候是一个比较最盛大的一个筹款晚会。
It's 2 days before the fundraiser. The group are assigning tasks to the volunteers.
旁边会有个售卖的一个活动，就是我们会要求我们的工作人员会跟现场的这些入场嘉宾积极的这个沟通，让他们买更多的奖券。
When we put the camera down, 2 women walk in and start openly photographing us. Then I notice a man taking pictures of the entire group. We've just been asked to leave very, very quickly. There's a guy in the corner who's taking the photo of all of the LGBT group and ourselves, so We're very nervous that it's the police. We don't know where John is, but we're going to try and find him once we've regrouped. Good, guys. Up until now, we've just been hearing that they think their phones are being tapped. They think their emails are being monitored. The government might be following them. But this is the first time I've seen it for myself. I absolutely saw a man taking photos of all of us in the corner. I mean, it's definitely worrying for us, but it's so much worse for John and the guys. The gala could be cancelled, and worse, the centre could be closed down. Can you hotspot him? We drive around trying to find John, but his phone's off. Finally, we get a message from him. He's nearby. John, are you okay?
Yes, kind of. I think it's alright.
What just happened in there?
Like there are a guy with 2 girls, and they are filming something from the very beginning.
Who do you think they are?
Not sure, but there is one possibility that they might be cops.
At times like this, John, do you ever feel like this work maybe just isn't worth it?
The only thing I'm thinking about, I'm worried for the whole night is about our gala. It's nothing about myself, actually.
We drop John off at his apartment. For the next 24 hours, John is going to lay low. He says he's going to turn off his phone. He's not going to leave his apartment, and he's just going to pray that they don't cancel this event. We don't hear from John until the next evening, the eve of the fundraiser, when he comes to see us.
Yeah, fine. Hi. I kind of turn off my phone for the whole day, so like maybe people cannot find me. Yes, in case there's someone call me and do something.
And if the police did come tomorrow, how would that make you feel?
If they come and close the event, of course, first we can do nothing, because if you do anything, if you argue with them, we will totally be put into the prison. And so I don't want to think about this right now, actually.
John feels he's leading a double life. He hasn't even told his mum he's gay, let alone he might be in trouble with the police.
I really want to share my own, the true experience, and I really want to tell her that, like how I fight with my boyfriend, and like or like if one day that day could come that I could take my boyfriend back home. I just want to, share my life with my whole family.
It's the day of the fundraiser. A lot of people have promised to come, but the venue is being kept secret until the last moment. John's just sent me a text with the location of the party, so we're on our way there now. It's on the roof terrace at a big hotel in the business district. Shall we do this one, John?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let's do it.
Pick the color. Red.
John and the others are certain that if the police are going to shut them down, they'll do it before the guests arrive. The 2-hour wait is excruciating. And then the guests arrive. There are more Chinese supporters than they've ever had before, and plenty of foreigners.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Iron from Beijing LGBT Center. We have achieved so many things. The first time, we win the cases of anti-gay conversion therapy. Our wisdom and our courage will give us the magic of changing the enemy into our allies. Thank you.
The event is a huge success. They've sold hundreds of tickets and raised enough money to keep the centre open for another year. How has this week been for you, Aaron? The build-up, the stress, not knowing whether it was going to go ahead or not. How was that?
You know, we always worry about maybe the police will come and shut down our event. So we designed the manning, plan B, plan C, to make sure that we can make this event happen. I think we should also grab this opportunity to communicate with policemen. I think why they try to regulate us just because they don't understand what we are doing.
What no one knew was that at that very moment, the police were at the LGBT centre looking for Aaron. It's been an incredible week of uncertainty, of nerves and of fear, but that's just turned into this huge success story. We don't know what the future holds for these guys, but we do know their centre gets to stay open for another year. Before we leave, John returns to the Tianjin Xi'an Mental Health Hospital for his follow-up appointment. He's expecting a referral to a doctor or hospital that does electric shock treatment. We wait for an hour. Are you okay?
I just, you know, during my way back here, I said, maybe I won't cry anymore because kind of I already finished all my tears there. When I cried there, she kind of told me that, you know, you are normal. I think you're very outstanding.
John's just had a meeting with a different doctor, the director of the Department of Psychiatry. She told him that although she'd once used electric shock therapy to treat homosexuality, she now thinks it's ineffective and cruel.
She told me that they're, now it's not a mental disorder anymore, and at least she thinks it's no big deal. You can still lead a normal life.
It's the first time John has seen with his own eyes how the attitudes of some doctors are changing.
Still, there are a lot of unfriendly doctors. That means there's still a lot of work to do, and I think our work will never end. But yes, you know, progress, yes.
The next day, the police came to the LGBT centre looking for John. To avoid them, he left the city for a week. He's now back in Beijing, continuing his work for gay rights.